Hello. Welcome to Salem-Keizer School Board meeting. Today is Tuesday, June 9th.
I don't think you're on the air.
I'm on there. Are we good? Testing, testing. There we go. Today is Tuesday, June 9th, 2026, and the board meeting is now called to order. It's currently 6:02 p.m., and all of our school board members are here. Hi. At this time, we will have the land acknowledgement by Director Fuller.
Thank you. We are gathered today on the land of the Kalapuya, who are represented by the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde and the Confederate Tribes of the Siletz Indians. The relationship between the Kalapuya people and this land continues unbroken to this day, and we offer gratitude for the land and for the generations present and past who have stewarded the land since time immemorial. We respectfully acknowledge and honor past, present, and future Native American and Indigenous students and staff at Salem-Keizer Public Schools. We invite you to join us in honoring these ancestral grounds and celebrating the resilience and strength of all Native American and Indigenous people.
Thank you. At this time, will you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Superintendent Castaneda, are there any modifications to the agenda?
There are none.
All right, I will turn this portion of the agenda over to you, spotlights.
Wonderful. This is always our favorite portion of the evening. Well, this particular evening, it might be our second favorite portion, as we also are swearing in new student advisors to the board. So the way that this will work is we'll do each spotlight one at a time, and then we will meet afterwards up here at the backdrop for photos. So I would like to start by introducing Hendrik Mobley, our orchestra teacher from Straub, to present our community spotlight.
Good evening, Chair Richardson, Board Directors, Superintendent Castaneda, and student advisors. Tonight, we are honored to recognize 6 outstanding Salem-Keizer graduates who have been selected as recipients of the 2026 Withnell Music Scholarship. This year, each recipient will receive a $1,000 scholarship as they continue their musical journey in higher education. Please join us in recognizing the 2026 Withnell Music Scholarship recipients. Jeremiah Costa from West Salem High School, Ellie McCartan from West Salem High School, Emma Losh from Sprague High School, Amelia Seaton from McKay High School, Talia Messakar from McNary High School, and Susie Tussing from McNary High School. We would also like to extend our sincere gratitude to the Withnell family for their continued generosity and commitment to Salem-Keizer students. For nearly 30 years, the Withnell family has invested in the future of student musicians through this scholarship program. Since its inception in 1996, dozens of Salem-Keizer graduates have received support as they pursued music studies in college. The program's impact has come full circle, with more than 20 former recipients returning to Salem-Keizer as music educators, inspiring and teaching future generations of students. As a former scholarship recipient myself, it is especially meaningful to be before you today as a Salem-Keizer staff member and to help recognize this year's recipients. I am reminded of sitting here myself as a student, listening to another Salem-Keizer music teacher speak, and who would become my colleague just a few years after that. Reflecting on my journey since, I am incredibly grateful for the opportunities this scholarship provided and proud to see its legacy continue through these talented students. My hope for the recipients is that the Withnell Music Scholarship serves not only as a contribution towards their next steps, but as a reminder of how lucky we are to have started our musical journey in this district. The incredible music teachers that have empowered us, the administrators and district leadership that continue to prioritize the excellence of our music programs, the community leaders like the Withnell family who provide these supports to help us reach our full potential. And I would be remiss as a music educator not to acknowledge the incredible families that also support them on their journey. What we have in this district is a truly special community, and these students are the embodiment of this. Congratulations to our scholarship recipients, and thank you to the Withnell family for helping our students pursue their passions, achieve their goals, and share the gift of music with our community.
As Hendrik makes his way back to his seat, only to be called back very shortly, I just want to also just acknowledge the tremendous impact that the Withnell family has had just generally on music in Salem-Keizer. It's part of the building of the legacy of this district, and we are spectacularly lucky to have the music program we have, but it didn't happen by luck alone. It happened because there are many people, educators, community members, leaders, who said this will be something that distinguishes us across the nation. And the scholarship program and the way that it is celebrated through the Withnell family is a highlight for all of our years. And I just want to really extend that gratitude. Okay, I would next like to welcome Eric Jesperson, our curriculum director, who is going to present our staff spotlight.
Good evening, Chair Richardson, Board Directors, Superintendent Castaneda, and student advisors. The Curriculum and Instruction Department would like to recognize Deb Kruger, Ruby Hoveden, Prisha Ward-Saylor, Guy Romo, and Kirsten Manning for their exceptional leadership throughout the elementary literacy process. This work began more than a year ago when they led a committee of teachers in reviewing multiple curriculum options and narrowing the field down to 2 finalists. This fall, they coordinated a district-wide pilot involving a well-represented group of teachers that represented all 6 grade levels and the 6 feeder areas in our school district. The pilot included English and dual language classrooms with careful attention to English language development supports. Through classroom implementation, teacher feedback, and ongoing collaboration, the teacher committee ultimately recommended HMH into reading and Arriba La Lectura. Since the board's approval of the literacy curriculum later this spring, Deb, Ruby, Prisha, Guy, and Kirsten have shifted their focus to preparing for the successful implementation. Together, they have developed curriculum maps, designed and facilitated professional learning, coordinated instructional supports, managed materials, and built systems to support our schools. Beginning this next Monday, they will lead the first of 2 3-day training sessions for our elementary teachers and principals, helping educators prepare for the launch of the new curriculum. They are also coordinating the massive effort of organizing literally dozens of truckloads of instructional materials to every elementary school this July, starting July 13th, ensuring that teachers have the resources they need before students arrive in the fall. Known for their positivity, teamwork, unwavering commitment to schools, and keeping Tom, Robin, and I in line, these 5 leaders have combined strategic planning with countless behind-the-scene hours to make this work possible. Their expertise, dedication, and collaborative spirit exemplify the very best in our district and have positioned our elementary schools for a strong start in the 26-27 school year. Thank you.
I just will briefly add that as a superintendent, sometimes you have an opportunity to notice how truly spectacular a team is. And one of the times you notice it is when you join them for a briefing, but they so quickly get back into the work that they just start doing all the work in front of you, and you get completely left behind because the work is the most important thing. And I got to spend, about an hour and a half with this team, mostly just marveling at what you have built. And It's not just the skill. It's not just the skill. It's the total teacher focus you bring to it. All of these years of experience and all of this care about the details, because in a curriculum implementation, we sweat the details. The details are the difference between it being successful and it being really hard. So anytime I could join you and just watch you work and try to keep up, I look forward to the next opportunity. So finally, we are going to have a student spotlight tonight, and I'd like to welcome Jolee Espinosa, a math teacher from Early College and Roberts. Thank you.
Hello. Good evening. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Good evening, Chair Richardson, Board Directors, Superintendent Castaneda, and student advisors. It is with immense pride and excitement that we stand before you today to spotlight a truly outstanding group of students, Team GTW, our state champions of the annual MESA Engineering Challenge. What is MESA, you may be asking? MESA stands for Mathematics, Engineering, Science, Achievement. MESA started at UC Berkeley to advance equity in the STEM fields for Black and brown communities in the area. In 1985, Renee Anderson brought MESA to Portland, Oregon, creating the Oregon branch of MESA, joining 10 other states in the nation. MESA's mission is to provide students underrepresented in STEM fields with the skills, knowledge, and opportunities to develop their talents, explore technology-based careers, enter college, and compete successfully in the workforce. Underrepresented meaning Indigenous Americans, Alaska Natives, African American Black students, Hispanic, Latinx, Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander, girls, non-binary students, and students from low-income backgrounds. One of the many ways that MESA achieves this goal of advancing underrepresented populations in STEM is through invention education, using competition to aid incentivizing participation. We in Oregon have two competitions, Demo Day and MESA Day, which our students won first at both. While MESA has a national organization has one called NEDC, National Engineering and Design Competition, which Team GTW has worked very hard for and will now have the opportunity to represent Oregon on a national stage. This team has demonstrated not only technical brilliance, but also innovation, resilience, and the kind of teamwork that sets the foundation for future leaders in engineering. This year brought challenges for this team as they all juggled extremely busy senior schedules, balancing high school classes, college courses, and life. Through long nights, trial and error, and countless brainstorming sessions, they've engineered a solution that pushed boundaries and impressed judges at every level. Their dedication has earned them a well-deserved victory at the state level. And now they're heading to the national competition later this month. Baltimore, here they come. Let's give a round of applause to Team GTW, which is Andrew Curtis, Mia Curtis, Jonathan Beckett-Lush, and Melody Furch, who are representing not just our school, but our entire community on the national stage. We couldn't be prouder of the way that they've risen to the challenge and set an example for others. We're all behind you, cheering you on every step of the way. Bring home the win.
Okay, we will now meet up here for photos, and let's start with the With Nell Scholarship recipients.
she's well, she was working in juvenile justice for 20 years, but then now she's the food and nutrition manager for Salem-Keizer. Oh, okay. Yeah, she just started. I was looking. She did on the package. She did these slides with the little foods. Yeah, but I just got 20% of my grade in one of my classes, but I did get all the instruments, so I didn't do very Did you go to any of the graduations?
This is my first big one.
I went to the 331 and it was really good. My friend Cece, she graduated and it was like, it was also weird because I'm like doing that in a year. Yeah. I think I saw you at the South graduation. I went to the 331. Yeah. Yeah.
At this time, we will swear in our student advisors for the next school year. Woohoo! Will you please repeat after me? Make sure you get in the mic. I, Alexsander Arredondo,
I, Alexander Arredondo,
as a student of Salem-Keizer Public Schools
as a student of Salem-Keizer Public Schools,
and as the appointed student advisor to the school board,
and as the appointed student advisor to the school board,
do hereby affirm
do hereby affirm
my commitment
my commitment
to represent all students
to represent all students
and bring the voice of all students
and bring the voice of all students
to the school board.
to the school board. Amen.
Chair, may I say something briefly? Well, we all know how wonderful Jolee is because we've had a year with Jolee, but I do just want to briefly say, getting to know Alex has been one of the real highlights of my job. And the way that I got to know Alex was that I got an email randomly from a student at McKay, and the email said, I would really like to get involved in leadership. How can I do this? And I said, well, we have a student cabinet meeting. Why don't you come and just check it out and see if you like it? And so he came. And then the next email I got said, I would like to join student cabinet. How may I do that? And ever since then, he has just been one of the most spectacular young young people in our lives, and I could not be more excited and just a little bit scared about what these two are going to do when their forces join.
We are also thankful to have the grandmother, the mother, and the father here as well. Thank you. At this time, we will swear in Jolee McMahan.
Hey, Jody.
Hey, Jolee.
I, Jolee McMahan,
I, Jolee McMahan,
as a student of Salem-Keizer Public Schools
as a student of Salem-Keizer Public Schools,
and as the appointed student advisor to the school board,
and as the appointed student advisor to the school board,
do hereby affirm my commitment to represent
my commitment to represent
all students
all students
and bring the voice of all students
and bring the voice of all students
to the school board.
to the school board.
Congratulations. Woo-hoo. I'm going to ask the board members and our advisors to please come up for a photo. When women lead, we have an Equity Warrior awardee in our bunch. This is the premier national event for women leading for equity and social justice in public education. And our awardee is Superintendent Andrea Castaneda. Let's give her a huge round of applause. We want to give you your flowers while you can receive them. Amen? Amen.
Don't we get a picture with the awardee?
That's a new word.
And we're happy to have Jolee's mom in the audience as well. She's been a huge supporter. At this time, we'll move to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Chair. So actually, while we had planned about 20 minutes for tonight, we have a very tight agenda tonight. So I'm going to limit my comments to 3 or 4 minutes and really just focus on this time of year. And One of the things that is a true privilege of being a school system leader is that you get to be on stage for graduation. And it is really special, but I think the most special part of it is if you are so fortunate as to be the first person greeting students as they start across the stage. The reason that I love that spot and kind of arm wrestle people for it is that you get to make eye contact with hundreds of students at the exact moment that their lives are getting ready to change. And that means that for 500 or 600 or 700 moments, you get to look someone in the eye and say, you did this. You did this for yourselves, and you did this for your family. And it might not have been easy, but you did this. And you can actually say that more or less with your eyes in just a second or two of eye contact. And it is an extraordinary privilege that I have, but it is the accumulated privilege of so many people's work that made it possible for every single one of those students. So as we close out the year, we just have a few days left. I want to take this time to celebrate our students, but this year in particular, I want to celebrate every single person who works in or around schools. And I am talking about the custodians and the teachers and the assistant principals and the graduation coaches, and every single person is making a difference and has the ability to change lives. I just get to be there for the culminating moment where we get to look at each other and say, you did this. So thank you so much to the Salem-Keizer team, and congratulations to every single one of our kids who are stepping up into the next best thing for themselves.
It is now time for the public comment portion of the school board meeting. As a reminder, all audience members are subject to immediate removal if you engage in abusive, threatening, vulgar, or hateful speech, including speech articulated on signs and clothing, which violate the district's harassment and/or every student belongs policy. Please note, we provide an opportunity for public comment by virtual, call-in, in person, or in writing. Electronic mechanisms are used for translation. Each participant has 3 minutes. We have a countdown timer on screen for monitoring our time. The timer counts down from 3 minutes at 30 seconds. It turns from green to yellow. At 1 second, it turns red and plays a short bell to signal time is up. Please be mindful of your pace for our interpreters. If the board receives written comment ahead of the meeting, the written comment will be posted on the district website. Tonight, we have 6 people signed up that have been selected to comment. I will call each one of them up for their 10 minutes. We have
Slightly less than 10 minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We will have a recess in 10 minutes, but okay. You have 3 minutes. Evan Lemke.
Good evening, members of the board, superintendent, and community members. My name is Evan Lemke. I am a Salem-Keizer parent and resident of Salem. I'm here tonight to speak about a significant transportation policy that directly impacts my family and others in our community. Currently, the district's transportation system prohibits children from riding the bus on any route other than their assigned one, even with a signed parental note. And it even prevents them from getting off at a drop-off stop outside their designated route unless it's declared an emergency. The policy is very strict. No change in bus routes, no alternate drop-off on the same route. Emergency-only exceptions could be made. This creates a serious complication. In a recent case, we provided a note and called ahead as instructed, yet that morning, we learned we couldn't even reach the transportation supervisor or driver in time. When a staff member did pick up and called us later, the supervisor apparently failed to relay the message to the driver, and as a result, our child was dropped off with no parent or supervision. It struck me that this was in direct conflict with one of our OAR codes, 581-053-0010. Pupils shall have the written permission to leave the bus other than at home or at school. This clearly permits written permission for students to leave the bus at any authorized stop, not only at their designated home stop, yet our district policy and procedures contradict this rule, effectively restricting parental authority and limiting flexibility. I am bringing this rigid rule to the attention of the board this evening because it directly affects our ability as a community to support one another in relation to transportation in our elementary school system and our most vulnerable population of youth. I urge the board to amend the district policy to align with state regulations In closing, I just want to repeat the OAR code 581-053-0010. Thank you for your time.
Tammy Kuntz.
All right, my name is Tammy Kunz. I'm president of Greater Northeast Keizer Neighborhood Association. I want to thank everybody for allowing me a few minutes to share. The district for community safety is my topic. District-wide public safety as far as our schools are concerned. The data tells a story, systematic neglect that we can no longer ignore. Board records show Native American, Pacific Islanders, Black, African American students historically receive twice as many disciplinary referrals as whites. As I've talked to a couple of the school board members previously, I understand there's a chronic stress that is fundamentally part of the problem. Part of the other problem is there's no way to track the data for keeping track of who's being bullied, who isn't being bullied, or any of the other ongoing problems. I'm here on behalf to share that our neighborhood, Greater Northeast Keizer, is looking to do an anti-bullying campaign, which really doesn't fit in with you guys' line of thinking, but we're gonna do it within the community instead of within the schools, to help create a more equitable, safe way for our kids. You guys have a 30, 90, 180 roadmap advertised on all of your information. We are looking to kind of adopt part of that. The district must present comprehensive inventory of all current safety and discipline issues. Those are nowhere on your sites. I have looked, I have asked questions, I have dug pretty deep. Within 90 days, the public should be able to see what's going on. with the data and groundbreaking policies revision. And 180 days is a full implementation and enforcement update must be delivered to the community. Safety cannot be an open-ended promise. It must remain a work in progress. In order for us to meet those needs, we need explicit metrics and safety indications, climate indicators, and equity impacts. Every single child deserves to be in the building and feel safe, protected, respected, and classrooms kept safe. We must find a way to capture that data and keep it all in one place, or at least if it's going to be in multiple places, allow it to be accessible for the community.
Thank you. Cynthia Munford.
Good evening to the board and community and student representatives. My name is Cynthia Munford. I am the parent of 5 beautiful children, and I am here to talk about the experience that my oldest had. Her paper for IB was falsely flagged as AI influenced. In our research, we have found that Turnitin.com's reported error rate for falsely flagging AI use is 1%. If a student turns in 100 papers, I don't know the calculation on how many would be flagged for plagiarism, but this is potentially a problem that can impact every one of our students. My daughter is now facing an F in the class and retaking it as an IB student. I urge that people look at, even if Turnitin.com's 1% is accurate, that is still 1% too many. AI is here. We use it every day. Every time you do a Google search, every time you fill it in, that predictive text is AI. We are all using it. It is here. And the line between AI influence on a paper and AI plagiarism is a fine line that no detector can 100% confidently say, my student crossed that line. Yet, here we are with a false flag, and we are not the only one. Over 40 universities have banned AI detection software because of its unequitable impact on ESL or English language learners and students with neurodiversity who tend to follow a more rigid pattern in their writing and a more formulaic response. Out of curiosity, I turned in every single paper she's written since the 8th grade. Every single one of them came back as over 50% AI influenced, even quick writes from her classroom. I turned in my speech for this evening, 50% AI influenced. These are being viewed by staff as infallible. Turnitin.com's AI detection is being conflated with their plagiarism detection. While their plagiarism detection is very highly rated and very highly accurate, their AI detection is not. Independent research puts it close to 20 to 40% of AI influence is being missed or mistakenly flagged. This has happened to one of our top students. She is the #1 student in her class. She is an IB full diploma candidate, and she experiences severe medical needs. The stress of being falsely accused of using AI has undermined her confidence, and it could do the same to any student in Salem-Keizer. I just urge people to look at and adapt a policy that allows students to proactively defend their work against these devices. Thank you.
Hector Gallegos.
Hello, everybody. God bless you all, and I really honor what you guys are doing. You guys are doing a great job. And today, my name is Hector Gallegos. I grew up in Salem, Oregon. And I just wanted to speak about what I saw growing up. Growing up, I was involved to a lot of criminal activity, guns, alcohol, violence. And I asked myself, what can I do to help? and influence these younger people, because that's a very serious problem. I preach the gospel of peace in prisons and in jails, and I've seen many of my colleagues and people that I went to school with in prison or in a jail, facing 18, 15 years in prison. So with that being said, that is a very serious problem, and in state prisons, there's approximately 1.25 million Americans, currently locked up. In local jails, there's 650,000. The United States has one of the highest incarcerated rates in the world. 1 out of 180 people can be placed behind bars at any given time. 50 to 75% of inmates grew up with no father. In the juvenile detention center, 70 to 85% grew up with no father. And today, 52% of inmates are fathers of minors. So what does that say about our future? That means that there's a lot of kids, a lot of youth that don't have that guidance from a father or a mother or that father figure. And what I want to talk today is about, bringing the 10 Commandments to the school, or possibly like the Bible. The Bible teaches us to train up a child in the way he should go. When he is old, he will not depart from it. The Bible says, thou shalt not steal. The Bible says, thou shalt not murder. The Bible says, thus shalt not bear false witness. The Bible says, thus thou shalt not commit adultery. Today, 1 out of 5 Americans have STDs. That's 20% of Americans. And if they were just simply to have those 10 commandments to guide them and to help them really understand, they don't have that father figure or that mother figure. And I know I'm not the only person that saw that in the streets of Salem-Keizer. And it's just, I asked myself, what could I do to help? And this opportunity was brought up to me to speak up for the community. And that is, what came into my mind. And it's not about religion. It is not about, fighting. It's not about arguing. It's about preventing and guiding the next generation of people in our country. And also something that I would really want is maybe some type of class where we can teach entrepreneurship, business skills, where we can teach real life problem solving, how to deal with trauma, how to deal with abuse, what to do and not do, and how to deal with finances. Thank you.
Leader Das.
Good evening, Chairperson Richardson, Superintendent Castaneda, Board of Directors, and school advisors. My topic is children's safety. I'm Lita Das, and I'm a parent of a high school student in South Salem. I'm sure most parents will echo with me here. As parents, we send our kids to school to receive a space of learning, exploring, strengthening their knowledge, and building their skill set, so that one day these kids will grow up to be responsible citizens and architects in shaping a much brighter and stronger society and nation. I want to express my gratitude to all you leaders and teachers for not just creating an environment for academic excellence, but also helping kids to find a sense of purpose and a meaning to life. When we send our children to school, most of us think it is a haven where we have handed our kids with trust, expectations, and hope. But with the recent turmoil and the gun incidents in Salem and in our nation, it makes me question, does the statement still hold true? I will request as a parent, it's time to bite the bullet, to revisit and reevaluate our safety policies and procedures to address some key questions. Do we all have a common understanding and agree with the definition of safety? Number 2, what are the different layers to safety? Physical, social, psychological, or are there other layers that we might have missed or we want to consider? Number 3, have we identified and included all key partners who would help us rethink the process? What are the proactive and the preventive measures we can take to combat our concerns? How often do we reassess and implement the plans. And once they are implemented, check that they still work or need improvement. So I'm looking to all of you leaders for help to empower our kids with a safer learning environment, whether it's in school, on their way to school, after school, during summers, in extracurricular activities. They are our future, and we must create a safe and a positive environment for our children so they can help build a safe and a positive society and nation. Thank you.
Jacqueline Green.
Hi, my name is Jacqueline Green, and good evening, Superintendent and members of the board. My name is Jacqueline Green, and I am the Vice President of Greater Northeast Kaiser Neighborhood Association. I'm standing here tonight alongside Director Hudson to formally request that the board place a crucial discussion items on an upcoming agenda, a comprehensive district-wide review and revision of our school safety policy. Our community safety is inextricably linked to safety of our schools. Recent testimony shared within our neighborhood association reveals a troubling reality. Safety breaches and the target of minority students within our school walls are migrating directly into our neighborhoods. When a student does not feel safe in the classroom, that instability follows them home, fracturing the peace of our entire community. We have shared moral and civic obligation to address these unresolved risks before escalating further. The evidence data-driven indicators on synthetic inequality. Truly, safety cannot exist without equality. Decades of data tells us that our current discipline framework is reacting to symptoms rather than to prevent harm, creating a safety gap that leaves our most vulnerable families needed feeling exposed. Numbers are clear and persistent. From 2009 to 2000, Hispanic, Black, and American Indian students are significantly overrepresented in suspensions. From 2015 to 2020, Native American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Island students received approximately twice as many disciplinary referrals as their white peers. My Black students face higher referral rates across every single grade level. A safety policy that relies on disproportionate exclusion of minority students is fundamentally broken. It requires urgent data ground revisions. The safety delay and safety denied local youth groups like Latinos, undisenfranchised, and grassroots families have advocated for these changes since 2019. We cannot ask them to wait any longer to move from reactive measures to proactive protections. We are calling on this board to pass a formal district establishing a 30, 90, and 100 days accountability roadmap. We must require a permanent monitoring plan that tracks safety incidents alongside equality impacts, ensuring our intervention projects students rather than harming them. Every family in this district expects their child to be physically and psychologically safe. Let's get this on the June agenda and bring this to work. Thank you, respectfully, Jacqueline Green, Vice President of Greater Northeast Kaiser Neighborhood Association. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank everyone that came forward and shared public comments this evening. Thank you, thank you, thank you. At this time, our budget hearing is now open. Superintendent Castaneda, would you please provide a summary of the 2026-27 budget?
I will provide a brief overview of the $1.1 billion budget, but probably not a full summary. This body plus our budget committee members, some of whom are actually in the audience tonight, did a lot of hard work in considering a proposed budget and discussing its relative merits and also some of its risks. We have presented, and the budget committee moved forward, a $1.1 billion budget that on a whole reflects a strong alignment to the board's goals, of which there are 5, and we have maintained a steady focus, unrelenting focus on those goals. That is a strength of the proposal. The proposed budget also includes some important steps forward that help advance our school's ability to move those goals. Specifically, I just want to call attention to the curricular investments, and in particular, in the early grades in elementary school, I believe we are the only school district in Oregon that is actually moving towards de-blending elementary grades even as we face fiscal pressures. The de-blending proposal will cut our number of elementary blended grade levels classes by about half and almost entirely protect the earliest grades where the foundations of reading are set. There are many other strong dimensions of the proposal, but in the spirit of transparency, what I wish to do is be clear about some of the weaknesses that are endemic to the moment and school districts throughout Oregon are facing. We are not alone. The first is that we are relying on reserves to close a structural deficit. And although we did reduce our budget by almost $25 million this year through some aggressive and thoughtful reduction exercises, we still leave an over $35 million structural gap in our general fund budget. That will be closed over the course of the year through a combination of all savings that we can scrape together and, most importantly, a reliance on our reserves. And what that means is that we are bringing forth a budget tonight for final approval that will bring us under reserve policy targets, meaning that we will not have the savings as a school district that we would like to have to navigate the challenges that are coming. I also wish to be very clear about something that we discussed many times over the past weeks and months, which is that this will require another reduction exercise next year. And while we don't know the exact number, I think it is fair to say that it will be a reduction something on the order of the $25 million that we cut for this budget cycle. There are a lot of things that are yet to play out. There is uncertainty about state revenue. There's a whole new long session. There are many variables. And so it is a moment where discretion is the better part of valor. We wait and we learn more about our context before leaping in to immediate plans. But we should be aware as a community that Salem-Keizer, like virtually every district in Oregon, is facing the combined pressures of declining enrollment, of state revenue that is not keeping up with the pace that our costs are growing, and other factors that are pressing our system to make impossibly hard decisions. Nonetheless, we will continue to make those decisions together and do so in a way that meets the best possible balance of the interests of our students, the interests and needs of our community, and the expectations and needs of our staff. I am proud of this budget in the sense that it reflects our organizational and community goals. I am worried about this economy in the sense that the economic conditions do not match our community's goals. They, in fact, fall far short of what our community needs and expects in resourcing for schools. And that is something that will require collective effort and collective advocacy, not just from our district, but across the state over the coming months. And I will pass it back to you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Superintendent. It is now time for the public comment portion of the 26-27 budget hearing. Our parameters for public comment mentioned earlier apply here as well. Tonight, we have 5 people signed up and that have been selected to comment. First one on the list is Jane Tichenau.
Hello. Hi, I'm Jane Tichenau, parent of a great teenager at McNary High School. I first just want to start off by appreciating the year and the very hard-fought wins and challenges overcome. It's challenging to be in education and to be a leader in education. And while there are plenty of reasons that can feel frustrating, there are also a lot of times to be grateful and celebrate. And I also want to give a quick shout out to Heidi and the team. incredible, like incredible work. Seriously, the amount of energy and effort that I can only imagine goes into this budget and this ever-evolving budget. I mean, kudos, really, especially, as you mentioned, we're seeing districts across Oregon having to cut schools, having to cut funds, having to cut teachers. It's a scary time, I think, especially in Oregon, and it is time for our state leaders, our local leaders, everyone to prioritize public education. It really does come back. If we want a thriving economy, we have to prioritize education. We need our students to be well educated so that they can grow up to be able adults and adults that are thriving in the community, because you deserve that. And the adults need to step up and make those decisions for your future. We are the ones, the decisions that we make now are affecting our kids. And the expectation is that we do well for our students and for our teachers. We have teachers leaving the position, like really good teachers, specifically even a lifeline at McNary, you know, for a really unfortunate situation. And as a single mom, that's really hard to like lose people that are really invaluable. But nonetheless, we press on. And I don't know, I just want to say, like, please, like, to everyone in this room, we have got to prioritize this. Oregon has got to make a change. It's imperative for the futures of our community, for our students. And lastly, I really, really, really want to highlight the importance of listening to the teachers at Head Start with the new position of director becoming available. It's imperative that we hear from them. They are professional and they know what is needed in that program. So anyways, thank you for listening to my ramble.
Thank you. Ross Wassenberg-Druper.
So, good evening, Chair Richardson and board members. My name is Ross Wassenberg. I'm a parent, a substitute teacher, and an advocate for student achievement. Today, I'm going to have my first demonstration of Canvas. Right? Is it safe? Is it effective? Is it legal? I don't think there's any of those. So, same with iReady. There's a website called themarkup.com and a function called Blacklight, which seeks to show what trackers are on which websites. And if I plug Instructure in on the public-facing side, which anybody can get into, so instructure.com, comes up with 21 ad trackers found on this site. And third-party cookies, 9. Sends it to Facebook, sends it to X, and it sends it to Google Analytics. So that's the public side. Now I'm going to log in and do sk.instructure.com and run that. And lo and behold, 2 ad trackers are found to Alphabet. Now we need to know if the school official has given consent for those 2 ad trackers to go to Google when we're using Canvas. And that is the crux of the lawsuit that the EdTech Law Center is doing on iReady. So, just want to notify you that the trackers are there. It'd be great if I showed this to State Board of Ed Chair Skurlock a couple days ago. She's very interested. Okay, so now let's talk about you trying to take my rights away as a public employee and outsourcing to a third-party staffing. Because I don't like my rights being challenged, and I can do something about it. So in the 3 weeks since you passed that budget out of the Budget Committee, I've organized 70 organizations into what's called the Student Achievement Coalition. And we are meeting with 8 legislators next week, including Senate President Wagner, because He, I think, understands the challenges of screen time, AI literacy, and data privacy, and also with play-based learning. Please join us as we work through a whole year of addressing these evidence-based research mechanisms to improve student outcomes. And when I hear equity out of this group, from now on, all I'm hearing is private equity. So please understand that you're stripping our district of money every time you outsource and you lose control, and we get to hear it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Film, next week.
Alexandria Hitchen.
Testing, testing. Okay. Hi, my name is Alexandria Hitchen. I'm a substitute teacher here at the Salem-Keizer School District. I also attended the Salem-Keizer School District through till graduation, and I have a son who's in the Salem-Keizer School District right now. I'm here today to present my points of frustration about the move towards EduStaff. The first is PERS. In the last email from the superintendent, we were told in response to the loss of our PERS that only 10% of our substitutes would work for PERS minimum of 600 hours. You have said that there are about 1,200 active substitute teachers in the Salem-Keizer School District. I'm not a math teacher, but I'm fairly certain that means that there are about 120 people who, sorry, I lost my place, who work over 600 hours in your district that are having their benefits cut. 120 is a big number. It's not like a handful of employees, it's 120 of your most loyal employees and the employees who are working the most for you. If the issue is fill rate, and I don't know, I'm not a business lady, so correct me if I'm wrong, but if the issue is a fill rate, wouldn't it make more sense to keep PERS to attract more substitutes into our community rather than taking that away? Paying subs more, offering benefits and providing supports is what keeps subs here. The EduStaff website even says that on an individual district or school level, increasing daily pay generally leads to a noticeable increase in job pickups. We've been told several times that we won't see a dip in our pay, but losing PERS is equal to losing our pay, or seeing a dip in our pay. You're outsourcing so that you can get away with paying us less by not having to contribute to our PERS anymore. You are selecting to outsource our livelihood to private equity firms, the very firms responsible for privatizing our hospitals and our prisons. Working for a private company means working for an employer that's bottom line is to make profits for its shareholders. These motives conflict with prioritizing students' well-being and creating equitable working and learning environments. EduStaff does not care about fill rates, nor does it care about equity in our communities. EduStaff cares about making money for its investors. You cannot guarantee anything else. The second point I want to point out, and I have 30 seconds, is equity. We've already established that in our May 13th meeting that the majority of our vacancies are in Title I schools. If classified subs reportedly already pick up non-titled schools over Title Is, what's to incentivize them to stay in our district when they can go to other districts and work in non-titled schools? How is that equitable for the Salem-Keizer School District? I see that potentially as expanding the gaps specifically in our most needy schools. I genuinely believe that EduStaff is harmful for our community. Thank you.
Iseana Hernandez Ariana.
Hello, school board and student representatives. I am here on behalf of Parish Middle School to ask an increase of 0.2 FTE. Our school is currently facing a shortage of budget, and we do not have enough to fund an important band that shows grand cultural aspects of our school.
Speak in the mic.
You can pull it closer. We are currently facing a shortage of 0.2 FTE, and we need a bit more. Our jazz band is in risk of getting cut, and it's one of the most important things to our musical aspect. We got a petition done which had over 100 signatures. That's 100 people who want to hear the band play. Now we know there is a lot of variables to the budget, but we'd greatly appreciate it if you took your time to see if you could resolve that issue. We know you don't have much control over what gets put in or the shortages, but we really need it. We look for grants whenever we're short on money for instruments, and we do fundraisers, but it's still not enough. Our band got an extremely amount, like a really big amount of student increase this year of people who are signing up to play. We originally had about 3 classes each school day. Now we have 7. That 7th one is jazz band that starts before school. There are about 20 people at just our school who get up every single day 1 hour earlier than everybody else. They practice a lot more than everybody else. They put in their hard work. It is their passion. Please do not cut this out of their lives. A lot of people don't like school already. They find it pretty difficult. But band helps them feel at home at school. It gives them a freedom to express themselves. We get to learn a lot of new pieces. Jazz band learns a lot more music than any other band at our school. Thank you.
Thank you.
What school were you from?
Parish Middle School.
Thank you.
Angela Hale.
Thank you, Superintendent Castaneda, Chair Richardson, Vice Chairs, Directors, and Student Advisors. I am currently a substitute teacher with Salem-Keizer School District. I am here to express my opposition to a budget that privatizes substitute teachers through EduStaff, a private equity firm. I believe this budget will be detrimental to the community without improving the fill rate. Salem-Keizer will be less accountable to the community, spend more taxpayer money, send that money out of state, and risk lower performance of its students. First, the stated purpose for turning over substitutes to a private equity firm outside the accountability of the Salem-Keizer community is to increase fill rates. Yet the Salem-Keizer substitute fill rate is already at 92%. Is there any credible evidence showing that EduStaff can manage a higher fill rate? There are currently substitutes who work for both Salem-Keizer and EduStaff. A percentage of the EduStaff substitutes may also work for an average of 30 days a year. How does outsourcing Salem-Keizer substitutes and accountability to the community align with the statement that our substitutes are critical to helping our schools run smoothly every day? Second, how will the community feel about a school board's decision to spend more taxpayer money to outsource substitute teachers? Previously, Superintendent Castaneda stated that the move will not save costs. However, Oregon law states a contracting agency must cost less. Additionally, taxpayer money will go to an out-of-state private equity firm. Will the community accept the outsourcing of local workers who are critical to helping our schools run smoothly every day at a higher cost and to out-of-state shareholders? Not only that, but the proposed budget assumes that the district will no longer provide substitutes with potential post-retirement. That is not the case. An Oregon judge found a substitute teacher who worked for a school district through a third party like EduStaff was a common law employee. that school district must now back pay PERS in full. Does the Budget Committee agree to take, probably only temporarily, one of the only benefits away from substitute teachers who are critical to helping our schools run smoothly every day? Third, relationships matter. A regular substitute knows the school teacher's routines and expectations, which has a significant impact on the student's daily performance. Consistently working with the same students multiple times in different classes is beneficial for students because a regular substitute can be trusted to teach and promote learning as opposed to being a monitor of online usage and behaviors. As I'm sure you know, thank you.
I want to thank all of the commenters for the budget hearing. The 26-27 budget hearing is now closed. Next on our agenda is the adoption of resolution number 2025-26-06, adoption and appropriation of the 26-27 budget, and impose and categorize taxes for 26-27. Superintendent Castaneda, is there anything else you'd like to add?
There is nothing, thank you.
Do I have a motion to adopt resolution number 2025-2606, adoption and appropriation of the 26-27 budget, and impose and categorize taxes for 26-27 as presented?
I'm happy to make that motion.
Director Harnish, I need a second.
I will second.
Second by Director Fuller. At this time, I'll open the floor for discussion.
Can I? May I?
Yes, Director Fuller.
Thanks. I just want to speak about staff for just a brief moment. It's a feeling being a board member and wanting to speak out about something and just having and hearing community testimony and I wanted to write my comments out ahead of time, but I didn't want to sound scripted either. It's a feeling to not agree with something, but still support it. I think that's what I was trying to get to. So I don't support outsourcing. I hear a lot of I hear a lot of people speaking against it and why. I just want to say that, this isn't permanent. Nothing ever is. I understand that there is ways out of the contract from both sides. The district has made the decision to defer the work in hopes of saving some district effort, especially with the cuts that we've had to eliminate some of the different positions, and hoping that it will increase the fill rate. We don't know if that's going to happen yet because it hasn't happened yet. So I just want to. It could work. I don't support it. I don't like it. But in the end, I'm supporting it as a line item in the budget. I don't see it. I don't see the need to vote against the whole budget for one specific issue. So I just want to explain that to everyone tonight. And thank you to everyone who has come and testified and written to us and talked to us about this issue. I think it raised some important conversations, and I just want to thank everybody whose effort to speak out about this. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Harnish.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say thank you there are a few members of the Budget Committee who are joining us tonight out in the audience, and I just want to say I see you and thank you for being here. Thank you for your service over the last few months as we comb through this budget. And thank you, too, to my colleagues who we've spent a lot of hours together over the last few months and really we've had to make some really tough decisions. And it is a really hard budget to think about. Dipping into our reserves is not a comfortable place that I would like to be. None of us want to be, I would say. And also just knowing the significant deficits were all in, we felt that we needed to do that, and I think it's the right thing to do in the moment. And it also underscores the work that we have to do over this, particularly this next biennium, when we think about the advocacy work. I appreciate the messages that we've received all throughout the budget committee process, as well as even tonight around the advocacy around the legislative appropriation of funding for schools. And that is one that I am very interested in our district being a real leader in those conversations. So again, I just want to say thank you to everybody. I am excited that the budget really does hold true to our commitments to keeping students at the forefront, also an adherence to the goals we have set before ourselves as a district and as a board, and also that we are really focused in on ensuring that our students have the absolute best education. So thank you very much, and I'll turn it over to you, Chair.
Thank you. Dr. Shandagiri?
Well, thank you, Chair. I just want to say it bluntly. You know, this is my 7th year I'm hearing the same, you know, we'll have to do it and do it and do it. And, you know, sometimes just you have to call what it is, right? You know, this is not a sustainable trend for public education funding in our state. I want to be honest with you. Somebody has to call out the emperor's new clothes and say, we have a problem. The problem is, it's almost like asking a patient with chronic anemia to kind of do a few labs here and there, give him IV transfusion of blood, and then say, keep doing it, and then soon he's going to collapse. Nobody knows how much it costs to educate a child so that they can read by 3rd grade or graduate in 12 years, even though we are dealing with all your public dollars. So there is no proper costing. We can't even get a proper definition of what poverty means. You know, when there are communities with high density of poverty, that is a big variable. So we haven't even agreed on some of those weightages. You know, we have close to 19% or above children who have special needs, and you know that they need specialized education, they need specialized staff, they need people who can understand how to do the timely testing so these children can get the necessary care. Yet I believe we get funding for 11 or 12% or something like that, and nobody seems to have the political will to change those variables and say, you know, we are kind of using some legacy, archaic template, cookie cutter to keep on rubber stamping the same service model. So I think our state needs a fundamental reboot of how public education is run. If we cannot figure it out, that's okay. There are other good states like Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, they seem to have figured it out. About 29–30% of this general fund money, we're going to be putting aside for PERS. It's not that PERS is bad. So then the remaining money, we have to kind of talk about how to negotiate salary. We kind of go through the same painful process. We have amazing staff. Some of them who taught my oldest child, who's like going to be 32, are still serving, and I have a lot of respect. These are the kind of painful realities we are going through because it's like squeezing oil out of sand. There's only so much. And you know, for a big organization like ours, functioning with so little reserves or end fund balance is like, you know, it's like trying to run your family where you have just about a week's worth of money left. You have to still pay the mortgage and everything else, and suddenly we have to go on a Disney cruise. You know, it's really the kind of struggle we are having. Now, that is not the fault of the teacher. Teachers are absolutely the backbone for our education. Our staff are doing a phenomenal job. You know, sometimes they feel like they're kind of hamster on a wheel, keep running in circles and things like that. I've seen them. I personally know them. I've seen them, their families. But, you know, we have to speak up. And we become our own barriers. You know, we were almost close to writing a letter saying, you know, this can't go on. But then looks like nobody wants to call out what it is. and say, hey, there's something wrong with this. If you're going to depend on general funds, then we need a share. We got about $1.25 billion worth of property sitting in this city, which is not taxed, those state buildings. So what I'm really trying to address is there are fundamental structural problems which requires an urgent attention. Otherwise, we are going to go through this. I really wanted to get it out in the public domain. We are trying to, softly say it. I'm not sure that is really helping. We have so many children from very vulnerable communities. We can say equity as a poster, but really what it really requires is a lot of their needs are, like we heard from that child who was talking about parish school, that 100 kids are a music program, and yet one of our goals is a sense of belonging, and that's the only kind of, that one teacher may be holding those 100 kids coming to school. Now, that doesn't mean we didn't put our effort. I was the vice chair for the budget committee, and we really put in an effort. Please, our community should understand, and I'll be supporting this budget. But I really wanted to get it on the public record saying, we are not happy. We are not happy the state hasn't taken a fundamental look from 1995 until now, never funded what it cost. Nobody knows what it costs. And we feel if we feel this way, what about the families out there? And that is the bigger question. And we keep on rubber stamping the same kind of policy, same kind of funding, and that is not helping. We have a small club that is going to the national level. That's the kind of potential we have in our community. That's the kind of kids we have. When you talk of equity, I think of it like how many lost Einsteins we have because we didn't properly take care of that. And it really is time for everybody to come together and say, yeah, we'll write a letter, but I really think I'm asking the rest of the community also to sign the letter along with us and say, this can't go on. And next year or year after that, we are going to face a very critical time, which will, in my estimate, if our reserves go down, it has a risk of affecting our bond rating. And if you kind of go for that, another bond, it'll increase the interest rate, it'll put the burden back on the taxpayers. So I think this is a bigger conversation, and I hope, not just during the budget committee, but in between we have an honest-to-God conversation and say, come to Jesus moment, and say, this is what we are struggling with, which is a huge structural problem. We need to define, and we need to be laser-focused, and say, what does it really cost to do that? So that's what I'm really hoping comes out of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Director Ortiz.
Thank you, Chair. I do have my notes because I'm trying to stay on script. Beyond the $5 per gallon situation that we have, the Oregon financial landscape is and forecast is challenging. We know that, and there's many things that we can't control, like the economy. But I think it's important for us to restate that our state leaders have levers that they can leverage, that they can use to ensure that we have a fair and equitable funding approach to our schools. We've talked about this at depth over the last several months, over the last several years, and we as a budget committee and as a board have invested time, thanks to our superintendent, our team here as well, to help us understand what the issues are, but also for us to be creative, start to think creatively about how we can, as a district, approach it, but also I think important for us to plan our advocacy moving forward, especially as a long legislative session approaches. This big book that superintendent shared, we have a budget that reflects for the 26-27 school year our ongoing commitment, I would say, as a school board, as a budget committee, and as a district to our students and community needs. We've protected the arts, we've protected CTE, we've invested in elementary reading curriculum, and yet it's imperfect, right? And you named that, Director Fuller. There's the reserves under our policy target, which just want to put it on the air. Our policy target is from 7 to 12%, and our reserves for this next year are falling at 5%. And so we are taking a leap of faith here that we are going to put our heads together and sort this out for next year, but it's going to be challenging. $25 million reduction is is significant. We've protected staff. I know there was some shuffling. Schools are feeling it. Educators are feeling it. Students are feeling it because they are having to say farewell to educators, beloved educators. And we've heard today from our band student who I just want to say, I hear you, and you are courageous, and you are a leader for your community by coming here today and sharing from your heart and your commitment to your ongoing band experience. I was a band kiddo. I have a band student right now. I think some of us here as well. But those are the impacts that we're feeling and seeing, and those are hard. I also wanted just to speak briefly, I didn't say this during the budget committee hearing, but when it comes to the outsourcing of our substitute teachers, I feel the tension. I was a substitute teacher while I was in grad school, and that was a role that allowed me the flexibility to bring a paycheck home while also being able to be a full-time graduate student. I also understand that it's an operational decision, and I think that's one of the things that it's sometimes difficult for us to communicate as board members about what are operational decisions and what are policy and governance decisions. But I do, as many of us have said, have spoken as well, look forward to learning about how and whether this transition meets the goals of the district. And just echoing that it doesn't mean it's a permanent transition. I think our leadership, our board, our district is committed to doing what is right. And in this moment, this feels like the right move. It may not be so in 2-3 years. Just want to close by saying thank you to our budget committee members, once again, to my fellow board members for your ongoing commitment to reviewing the budget, asking the important and challenging questions in public, via email, and in conversations with our superintendent. Thankful for our shared commitment to learning and engagement and planning for future advocacy to make sure that we are speaking for our Salem-Keizer students, but also for students across the state who we know are impacted by the fiscal constraints that we are facing today and in the near future as well.
At this time, I'm going to call for the vote.
Sorry.
All those.
I still have my.
I'm sorry. Director Hudson.
Thank you, Vasu. It'll be quick, I promise. I just wanted to amplify, it's Sonia's voice out there, and I just wanted to clarify because I couldn't quite hear. Are we cutting the funding for jazz do we know, at Parish Middle School?
I believe what she was referring to is a 0.2 FTE, which is a fractional staff position that they're looking for to fill out a schedule. Okay. So it is actually a perfect example of what Board Member Guzman-Ortiz was talking about, which is that in the midst of all of the things that we're attempting to balance and protect, there are also losses along the way. So no, we are not cutting a full position, but that fractional piece, every fraction matters. Even in a school system of our size, every fraction matters.
And it's a good reminder, so thanks again for being brave enough and coming and speak. That was wonderful. Hopefully as a community we can wrap around you. I know Whitaker and McNary do well, and hopefully we can kind of mimic and fundraise and keep Parish going as much as we can too. So there's hope, and that's because there's you and there's a voice, so thank you.
At this time, I will call for the vote. All those in favor of adopting resolution number 2025-2606, adoption and appropriation of the 2026-27 budget, and impose the categorized taxes for 26-27 as presented, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
Get it? At this time, we will take a 10-minute break. Thank you. Superintendent Castaneda, do you wish to provide further review of any item listed on the consent calendar?
I do not, thank you.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar? Director Shandagiri. Is there a second? Director Harnish. All in favor of the consent calendar?
Aye.
Raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Was it all of us? It was unanimous. Next, I'd like to invite Director Mulperoy to present information regarding Senate Bill 141, Performance Growth Targets and Local Metric Options.
All right, good evening, Chair Richardson, board directors, student advisors, and Superintendent Castaneda. Have the opportunity to talk a little bit about what is coming forward with us with some of the changes for Senate Bill 141 and the new Accountability Act. A lot has been discussed over the last few months as it's been passing through ODE. We finally have a lot more clarity to bring you and a timeline. Next slide. So today is just the first of multiple conversations we'll have to introduce some of the processes behind the new Accountability Bill Act. And we're going to focus on the most important part first, which is what are the outcomes for our students that we're going to be prioritizing and setting goals around. Today is just a little bit of building that understanding. We're not going to make any decisions now, but just make sure that we have a uniform base by which we are understanding the decisions ahead of us. In our board retreat, we're going to go a little bit deeper, discuss some opportunities and choice points ahead of us for both local metrics and targets. In the end of August, we're going to do a formal reading on, second reading on some of those targets and metrics to ultimately approve and submit to ODE. This is going to kick off a phase of strategic prioritization based on the outcomes and targets that you set for our system. A brief primer on some of the background and history. So back in the long session in 2025, we passed Senate Bill 141, which was the foundation for this new Accountability Act. It replaces a lot of the existing state accountability framework that came out with integrated guidance. It still puts student outcomes in the center, but in a new way that really highlights statewide accountability towards those outcomes. So you will see as part of this a few new metrics, a little bit of a new process behind it, and what the accountability system will ultimately drive towards with those new targets that we set. One thing I want to note that's a very important thing that's unique to Salem-Keizer in this is we don't have to bring these to the board this time. It's not a state requirement, it's not an OAR, it's not an ODE requirement, but it is a requirement for us. Because at the heart of Salem-Keizer is the expectation that we lead through results-based governance, and that centers student outcomes first and foremost. We are one of few districts in the state and in the country that do this, and that gives us a leading edge because we've already been doing the work of focusing our outcomes first for students in part of our accountability. It's what forms our first governance policy, it's what forms our superintendent's evaluation, and we've already been doing this work in our board reports and our monitoring conversations every year. And the two reasons why that matters is because you, the board, represent our community. You're publicly elected to prioritize the voices of our community and to hold ourselves and our system accountable to those outcomes. So we want to make sure that this process centers you in that decision making. This is where it's going to get a little complex, and there will be a few Venn diagrams and charts, but I promise it matters even though the complexity does start to creep in. First, there are a set of things that we have as our board goals. This is our results policy. These are the things that matter most to us. They're the priorities that we set for our students, for our schools, and they trickle all the way down to what's happening in our classrooms, day to day with students. Some of the metrics we are going to choose are going to overlap with the state accountability system. Those are going to be the areas where our accountability system for the results policy and the state's accountability system perfectly align. And there are going to be other things, our performance growth targets, or PGTs, you'll hear that acronym a lot, that are going to be statewide outcomes that we submit to the state. they can't be our area of focus, because everything can't be. Because once everything is an area of focus, nothing is. We have to make hard decisions about where we're going to prioritize, so that when we come back next year, we will move those metrics. And when we build our budgets around them and our strategies around them and our work as a system, what we prioritize, we will move. The slide is a lot. I'll go through it slowly, but just to note, of the 7 different metrics that Senate Bill 141 has put forward, we are already tracking, monitoring, and goal setting around 5 of those. So what's not new and coming back is K-12 regular attenders, is 3rd grade English language arts and literacy, is 9th grade high school on-track status, and 4-year graduation. Those are the exact same metrics that we're going to be targeting in the next plan. We're going to set new goals and targets for them over the next few years, but those are familiar and defined exactly the same way. What the new bill does introduce are 3 new metrics to contemplate. K-2 regular attenders, so really focusing in on getting a strong start to that early elementary attendance habits that repeat later and throughout a student's entire educational career. Next is 8th grade math proficiency, a checkpoint that lets us go through and understand, are students ready for the math skills that are going to be needed in high school? And 5-year completer rates, so giving students an opportunity for an alternate path to graduation and college or career readiness through things like extended diplomas or the GED. Again, tonight's goal, sorry, go one back, is not to start to prioritize or goal set around this, but just to understand the suite of options available to us. The next set of metrics are all new. And as part of the accountability bill, we have to choose one of these metrics to set as our local option metric. We will set targets in the same way, we will prioritize those in the same way, but we're choosing just one to prioritize. Here, I'm going to spend a little bit more detail into what each of these are, again, knowing that we have lots of opportunity to come back, fully unpack these, look at our historical data, think about different trajectories and what that means for our system. First is 5th grade science achievement. So this uses the same OSAS score that we have for all of our math and ELA assessments as well, but focusing in on the 5th grade assessment. This metric uses a little bit more complicated of an assessment system. It creates an index score that has points for different levels, but at the end of the day, it's science achievement. Academic growth, this is probably the most complicated one. This is the thing that we all want to choose. This is the thing that lets us see whether students are making academic gains within a year and across a year, whether grade level rigorous instruction is really paying off. Unfortunately, this is also the metric that is probably the least helpful as it's constructed by state definition. Partly because there is no construct for state definition. It's set as TBD. We know that there are a lot of things that this could be, but there is no statewide baseline. There is no internal baseline. And while these things are going to be tracked and monitored in our schools as we look at individual student assessments, it's too new of a metric to really understand what it is or how we're measuring it. There's a lot of great insight for our interim assessments, but it is not yet quite an accountability metric. So while it's there, there is no baseline to set, and there is no baseline to observe quite yet. The next 3 focus on 3 critical outcomes that I think you will see some familiarity with and things that Salem-Keizer already prioritizes. First, career and workforce readiness. So it looks at, for our high school students, the number that are either CTE participants, so taking 1 credit in CTE, or CTE concentrators, taking multiple years of credits for a particular concentration or pathway. Next is bilingual and multilingual proficiency. So these are the students earning seal of biliteracy or multiliteracy. There's an assessment that students take in their secondary years, either in 8th grade or in high school, that certify them as being proficient in multiple different languages in addition to English. These are the students' sashes that they wear in graduation, which all of you attended, right? A lot of pride goes into attaining that for our students. And finally, post-secondary readiness. And this is a combination of students who are either learning dual credit within college level coursework, advanced placement, or IEP completion. So whether they're passing those tests, achieving the credit in each of those programs. Again, you can see a really hard choice ahead of us because we have so many great programs of excellence in our system, and we're going to be choosing metrics from these, setting targets around these, and building our strategies to make sure we hit them. In order to do that, and this is what we're going to come back to over the next few months, we're going to look at 5 criteria that will help us select and prioritize those. First, and probably most important, is what aligns with our community values. It's our students, it's our families, it's our staff, it's all the people who we are here to serve, both now and in the future. Is it coherent with what we're already doing? Do we need to make left-hand pivots that start to remove that momentum that we're building in schools right now? Or do we want to keep the coherence of the progress we're already making and build very positive momentum in what we've already started? We want to center on our core value of equity. For every single one of these metrics, we will be setting an all students target and a combined focal group student target. So this looks at students that fall into any one of multiple different focal group indicators based on race, ethnicity, English learner status, economic disadvantage, and about a dozen other possible demographic factors that combine into that focal group. The goal of what we're going to do and the goal of what the state wants to do is close those gaps. So next to those targets for all students, we'll be setting, monitoring, and reporting on that combined focal group. This won't replace the way that we break down by each of those student demographic variables for you as a board when we do have those data, although many of them are not necessarily data that we do have access to. Thinking about around things like economic disadvantage status, we unfortunately don't know that data at the individual student level, but when we have it, we will report it to you broken down by each of those demographic groups. Accurately measure the outcome. This goes a little bit to that academic growth measure. We want to track that. We will be tracking that at the individual student and classroom level, but it's not a measure that is good for accountability right now. So it's going to be a measure that we use as a leading indicator to understand how our students are growing, regardless of whether or not we can or would select that as a state measure. And finally, we want to win. We want to make progress. We want to choose things that will improve the outcomes of our students, that we can grow every single year and see tangible success because of that. That was a lot of content. This is the last slide just to look at a little bit how this goes in terms of timing over the next few years. I'm going to, after that, pause and see if anybody has any questions. So a little bit of a timeline. Right now, we have board goals as part of our results policy that goes through the school year 2028. Climbing Together, our current strategic plan, is a 2-year plan focused on this school year we're just wrapping and the next school year ahead of us. We've already set those strategies, we've aligned our work across system and schools, and we're tracking and monitoring our outcomes and our progress in all of that work that we're doing. Foundational conditions, student agency and wellness, and academic excellence. The new accountability framework resets the state accountability framework starting in this next year. So we're going to be setting goals for the school year just ahead of us in fall that will go through the school year 2030. Now you might be wondering, it feels a little late to set goals for a school year that's going to start in 2 months. Absolutely. Therefore, what we're proposing is we're going to extend our current board goals and results policy for 1 more year to, again, keep that momentum and coherence that we already have within our schools. Don't take a left-hand turn around some of the great work that's already happening. Set a new set of results policies for the board that start in school year 28 and go through that same 2030 timeline, and to create a bridge and an extension of our current work so we can meaningfully shift this work in the new outcomes that we have ahead of us while not abruptly changing the progress and the expectations for our schools and our teachers starting this September. And now I'll open up to any questions you have.
Yes, please.
Director Hudson.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. So can you kind of recap really quick on the Climbing Together? We're keeping that model for another year, but also starting to implement the rest of it, and how that exactly doesn't mess with our 5-year financial cutoff for not hitting the state's required marks, timelines. Does that make, I can reword that if you'd like.
Is your question around whether or not we're going to have to shift our funding and our priorities within the budget relative to the outcomes?
Well, I'm guessing that we will have to, and thanks for that, because that leads me into the next part, which was how often you'll give the board report, keeping track of this to make sure we hit the target so we don't lose the funding. But I did run this question by Andrea, so I think she's trying to help mediate this. Thanks.
Yes, as there is a lot of content here, we have done a little bit of like behind-the-scenes conversations to make sure everybody on the board is oriented to this. And what Director Hudson is referencing is the part of Senate Bill 141 that says that if over multiple years you fail to make progress, there can eventually be an impact on your funding. So they become authorized to direct your funding or withhold your funding. That doesn't happen until pretty far in the future. So I think your question is, if we're doing this bridge year, are we sort of undermining our own likely success and in avoiding that outcome? Is that right?
Yes. What do you think about that? I'd like to hear your opinion. Thanks.
A lot of that is really going to boil down to the metrics that we select and how aggressively we select them. So in order to trigger that financial sort of implication outcome where the state can direct about up to 25% of our funding, we have to not hit multiple targets for multiple consecutive years. Okay. So it wouldn't be until after year 3 at the earliest that would come into effect. And before that, there are multiple different stages of what's called direct coaching, which is ODE would come and work with us without directing funding into support and guidance of what we're doing and how we're implementing to hit our targets. Okay. But ultimately, it precipitates on the nature of whether or not we hit the goals and targets that we ourselves set and that you set for us.
Okay, thank you for that extra information. I'm always so analytical, and I'm excited that we have people here today because I bet our community will have some input for us on what we should do if we've got this year. And this summer we'll have a board retreat where we're talking about this, as I understand, and kind of honing in a plan to start implementing next year on what our focal points should be as a district. So I saw you taking pictures, some of you, so I hope you're taking notes, and I hope you do care to send your feedback. That is very helpful. Thank you all.
And to that point, maybe one more thing I will add is that the rest of the deck that we're not covering now is here and available for you and in the public board site. It goes into a lot more detail of what each of those metrics are. It paints a picture of a journey through a student. And what are the major checkpoints, milestones, and data points that we want to understand on a student's journey throughout our system, starting in elementary when they're in pre-K or kindergarten and all the way through graduation or their 5th year.
Yeah, that's exciting. I forgot the last detail was, is it quarterly that you would give a status report to the board on how we're doing with this?
Oh, great question. Very similar to what we do now, we would bring a series of different board reports and updates as the metrics are available. In addition to that, one new requirement of SB 141 is that we will bring you update on our interim progress data. So again, even if we don't choose, I don't think we would, because we can't set that target, academic growth as a metric, we would still report to you summary data around all of the interim assessments that our schools are using 3 times a year to understand student progress and growth.
Okay. May I have one last? So with that, are you going to bring, when you do your board reports, the new data as we learn the specific details about SB 141 as they come into you? Or do we need to go ask the executive team for periodic updates? I can tell you why I asked that, but I'm trying to save you time. So
yes,
thanks.
We will absolutely bring them to you proactively in our work sessions every single time those data are available for all the metrics that we select.
Thank you, because speaking of the academic one, I was curious about the testing and why we would not choose that. So thank you, thank you.
Dr. Shandagiri?
Thank you very much. So we have invested in that STAR testing, and there are so many things we invested over time. Even though it looks like a cumbersome thing, I was just thinking, do they have any interactive effect? If you're good in language, then probably you can understand the math question better or science question better. They're not like separate, discrete things, but they're all kind of interact with each other, right? So I was just thinking, is there a way you can plug in all this, 14 or 12 particular thing, like they are like subsets, and would that allow you to come up with some kind of individualized education plan for these children? Like parents are looking for how to understand the pipeline going from kindergarten all the way to graduation or post-graduation, right? So is there any way we can make it more user-friendly for parents? Like when I used to go to school long ago, we used to have report cards, like every quarter we'll get that, and it's a handwritten one. We didn't have computers and all. But that kind of allows you, whether you're building in the, like road to health card for little babies you get, you're kind of going off a thing. Is there any way to create something like that so parents also can take an advantage of this?
Yes, absolutely. And this is one of those great circumstances where we are actually far ahead of a lot of other districts in having a strong suite of interim assessments available already. So in K through 8, we already do have interim assessments like STAR and iReady that can track progress at the individual student in a classroom level. And then 3 times a year, we update those data within Synergy so that parents have access to them. 1 time a year, we send out a specialized, what's called a student assessment report that has all of the data that a student has relative to their assessments, their attendance data, both interim and final OSAS data to families, so they have access to that as a checkpoint as well.
Thank you so much. We're going to move on so we can get through our agenda this evening. Next agenda item is a very important topic that we all care deeply about: safety in our schools. I've been working in public education for 47 years. 36 of those years I've been an administrator in a building, and it has always been my responsibility to make sure all students feel safe and were safe so that they could stay focused on learning and their future success. There are many parts of safety. What I learned and saw in tens of thousands of students I served over the years was that first, students need to feel safe inside themselves. And our job was to help them grow in confidence and competence. We keep them safe by giving them skills to navigate their lives, emotions, and behaviors. We keep them safe by teaching, modeling, and developing the character that is needed to positively impact our community. And still, I've dealt with my fair share of safety issues as a principal. Students who are unsafe in the community, students who bring their troubles into schools, fights, you name it. I've dealt with it. I've dealt with school shootings. Again, we do what educators do. We teach, we model, we develop, we set the expectations, and we help them get there. And they do get there and can get there. I'm proud to have spent decades keeping students safe and learning. And because of that, I'm pleased that we're going to have a dedicated discussion about school safety this evening. Before I turn it over to Directors Parker, Hudson, and Shandagiri, I want to share that we have a very full meeting tonight. We have 20 minutes for this discussion items, and we will not be taking action. Tonight is about listening and discussing this important topic. I am going to ask my fellow board members to respect the time and care that the directors have put into tonight's statement. I'd like us to let them make their full statement before we begin our discussion. I believe I am handing it over to Director Parker.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Vice Chairs. Thank you for board directors, student advisors for allowing me to make this presentation along with my co-sponsors, Dr. Shandagiri, Chrissy Hudson. Again, as Chair said, this is a very important topic, school safety, and very dear to my heart. I would like to start out with the story from one of the students that was kind of unsettling, but I would like to bring this to your attention. The student, he was close to finishing high school. His family was from Pacific Islander community. They came to Salem with deep hope that their son would graduate from American high school and step into a brighter future. Instead, while he was in high school, he reportedly endured repeated sustained bullying, including threats delivered through social media and FaceTime, with images of guns and the message, "We will get you." His parents kept him home because feared of his safety. He was stayed home for 10 days, which led to his disenrollment. And when the family tried to navigate re-enrollment again, they were encountered barriers, and they're made it even harder because of the language and cultural differences. The school, instead of letting him know, kept sending him home without formal suspension. And they mentioned a GED, even though he was close to graduation, but that's not what his family wanted. They worked and sacrificed for. The family considered filing a complaint, but ultimately withdrew in part of the cultural reluctance to go against people in authority. Then the unthinkable happened. This student dropped out, and he was shot in Salem. He survived, and the alleged perpetrator was arrested, but he never got his GED, and he never graduated from high school. This is the kind of story that does not make it into our boardroom, but it should. It reflects the real human costs of bullying, cyberbullying, fear, cultural and language barriers, and systems that families are expected to navigate when they are already in crisis. For this young person and his family, the result was not only the loss of safety, but the loss of trust, opportunity, and hope. And we do not know how many other families are carrying similar pain in silence. This story is one data point, but it's not an isolated incident. Families across our district are raising serious and reported concerns. We've heard about bullying, cyberbullying, racial slurs, violence, mental health crisis, suicide risk, drug activity, exploitation, gang-related harm. When families from different communities describe similar patterns, we have to recognize to the points to a systematic problem requiring a district-wide response. Safety is not separate from education. It's the foundation that makes education possible. We are concerned that the district's safety policies and procedures may be outdated, may not have undergone meaningful reviews in many years, and may not fully reflect the district's duty of care to protect students from reasonable foreseeable harm in addition to what is known. We also believe that the different forms of violence are connected, including bullying, sexual violence, child abuse, suicidal behavior, and other forms of harm. This is why we need prevention, not reaction. Some families and community members have even asked whether they are seen feels less like prevention and more like a push out. Families have been asking for data, transparency, accountability, and the board itself has not consistently had access to the data and the information needed to understand the scope of the problem, shape policy solutions, and carrying out its oversight responsibilities. We bring this issue forward now because families have been speaking up for a long time, and their concerns are too serious to ignore. We now have both testimony and the data showing the need for stronger oversight and more coordinated response. This is not about blaming anyone, teachers, principals, or staff. It's about systems, policies, and accountability. The central question before us is whether district has the structures in place to identify risk early, respond consistently, support victims, and learn from patterns over time. We are calling for stronger prevention, earlier intervention, clearer accountability, and better coordination. School discipline should remain the responsibility of the district, and student safety must be addressed in ways that reduce harm and prevent escalation. When situations are allowed to escalate, they often too end in law enforcement referrals or arrest, and either path can undermine a child's future. We are not calling for more policing of students. We are calling for prevention, coordination, victim support, and clear protocols when school safety concerns overlap with community violence or criminal conduct. Our students should not have to choose between their safety and their education, and our families should not have to navigate crisis alone. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll hand it over to Chrissy.
Okay, hello, thank you. Oh, thank you, everyone. Thank you for giving your time and your hearts to our community and your care and your input. It means so much more than what I feel I can accurately convey to you, honestly. This is just, does my heart good that we're all agreeing to have this conversation together. Thank you. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with some data. We believe that what is measurable is changeable. We wanted to understand the scale of the problem and identify what may be missing from the board's oversight. Those who collect data have an ethical duty to ensure that the information benefits the people from whom it is collected. The board has not been receiving regular reporting on several critical indicators, including civil rights data elements, to address this gap. We submitted public records and freedom of information requests for 10 years of data on expulsions, suspensions, law enforcement referrals, school-based and off-campus arrests involving our children, bullying, cyberbullying, which came up tonight, violence, gang-related incidents, sorry, I don't have my glasses, weapon-related incidences, sexual abuse, bias incidents, suicide, and other high-risk behaviors. We requested records from the Oregon Department of Education, the City of Salem Police Department, the Marion County District Attorney's Office, and the U.S. Department of Education Office for Civil Rights. From the Oregon Department of Education, we obtained district data for expulsions, out-of-school suspensions, and in-school suspensions from 2016 to 2025. We also learned that the district does not report law enforcement, referrals, or school-based arrests to ODE, again, Oregon Department of Education. From the Salem Police Department, we obtained data on arrests of youth under age 18 from January 1, 2016 through May 25, 2026, including arrests during school hours and outside school hours involving students connected to our middle and high schools. Focus groups and community outreach. We are deeply grateful to the families and community members who welcomed us into their spaces. Sorry, I just want to make sure you didn't have to do a change. And shared painful experiences of harm. Their testimony was humbling and heartbreaking. Many described living with fear, distress, and a profound sense of powerlessness. Now that we have borne witness to these experiences, we cannot ethically look away. A parent-led petition has gathered more than 400 signatures in a couple weeks across electronic and paper versions, reflecting broad community support for stronger student safety measures. The numbers do not tell the full story. Each number represents one of our children. Behind every number is a story, often one that shows what happens when warning signs are missed. I'm still going, sorry. Concerns are minimized and action comes too late after harm has already escalated into exclusion or arrest. Bias and racial harassment are under-recognized. Families described racial slurs, threats, hair-related targeting, and repeated humiliation, while also expressing deep skepticism that these incidents are being consistently captured in district reporting. Many said there is a significant disconnect between what families are experiencing and what the board is being shown. Bias incidents are early warning signs, not minor events. Families emphasized that slurs, threats, humiliation, and daily hostility create fear, anger, and isolation long before a student is suspended, expelled, or arrested. These incidents are often the beginning of escalation, not isolated moments. The board must see both the data and the human impact. Families repeatedly said the board should not only review counts of expulsions, arrests, or complaints, but also understand the stories behind those numbers and the preventable failures they represent. One mother reported that her 15-year-old son, a freshman, was beaten twice off campus by peers associated with his own high school because of perceived gang affiliation through friendship. Police reports were filed, but no action had yet been taken. Families described a lack of trust in the district's ability to ensure safety and uncertainty about how off-campus incidents involving students are addressed. One parent also noted that board meetings have reportedly not substantively addressed gang-related concerns in over 7 years, reflecting a troubling disconnect between official presentations and parent experiences. Exclusionary school discipline places students on a negative trajectory. It increases the likelihood of academic disruption, dropout, entry into the criminal justice system, poor mental and physical health outcomes, and even adult incarceration. Our review of statewide data shows that the Salem-Keizer has had the highest rates of expulsionary discipline in Oregon over the past decade, including expulsion, out-of-school suspensions, and in-school suspensions among the 152 districts reporting discipline activity. For example, in 2024 to 25, Salem-Keizer School District 24J reported 4,943 total exclusions, 65 expulsions, 1,887 out-of-school suspensions, and 2,991 in-school suspensions. This represents an increase of 1,275 exclusions in just 1 year. We are also deeply concerned by the lack of coordinated oversight regarding youth arrests and entry into the criminal justice system. Data remains siloed, and there appears to be no clear alignment between policy, practice, and accountability across agencies. No single entity appears to be responsible for ensuring the safety and well-being of our children across school and community systems. This raises an urgent question. Are we missing early warning signs and waiting until problems become severe before responding, or simply shifting the burden to the community? Data obtained from the Salem Police Department includes only arrests by the agency of youth under age 18. It does not include arrests for referrals involving other law enforcement agencies, so the true number is likely higher. 2016 through 2026, for every 1 arrest during school hours, there were approximately 4.9 arrests outside school hours in the last 10 years. 2016 to 2026 metric, school hours outside. Total arrests, 478. However, in the period of 2021 to 2026, the ratio widened significantly. For every 1 arrest during school hours, there were approximately 14.5 arrests outside school hours. Per the memo from the Marion County Chief Deputy District Attorney's Office, the Marion County experienced a 233% increase in fatal and non-fatal shootings between 2014 and 2023. Gang involvement increased substantially from 22% of incidents in 2014 to 2018 to 43% in 2021 to 2023. Juveniles were moving more quickly to serious gun violence than previously seen. I could say in 2014 it was 21% to 50% in 23. The minorities were overrepresented. Once we do a detailed analysis of this memo, we will be able to share, which we did send to the, I think, board director, chair and vice chairs, and superintendent this morning, came in yesterday on 6/8/26. We have to remember, we took an oath to serve the community, and an inaction in the face of harm dishonors our families. We want to make sure we speak with them and for them. And I thank you, honestly, from the bottom of my heart for allowing us and inviting us to have this conversation. And I look forward to see its outcome. This feels so long overdue, and it's so important that we take our time here to help create what we can to give our district the tools that they need to support our staff and our children and keep them safe. So bless you. Thank you.
Do you mind giving this to
Director Shandagari.
Thank you very much, Chair. I'm just submitting the two records, the memo from which we obtained from Deputy DA, Chief Deputy DA from Marion County based on our public record request. It has a good analysis, and our analysis of the memo, and just to kind of walk through, and we wanted to see what are the governance risks. After all, we are a policy governance board. You know, you heard all this. I think when you kind of deep dive, and we have already shared with individual directors and the superintendent what all the raw data we got. So the entire report has been submitted, but for the sake of time, I just want to summarize and say, this last 2 weeks, which we were given time to present this report, was important, illustrative, tiring, and personally very, listening to the testimony was very traumatic, but we had to bear witness. We had to lean in. This is exactly what I really want to say. We have a problem. I'm glad we are talking about it. Unless we acknowledge the problem, unless we acknowledge the systemic harm, we cannot begin healing. We cannot have systemic reconciliation when we cannot acknowledge the systemic harm. 4,973 of exclusionary discipline, expulsion, suspensions. That was an increase of 1,275 compared to the previous years. Now, in the last 10 years, we have been having one of the highest expulsion suspensions put together. In the state of Oregon, even if you compare to the large districts like Portland, Beaverton, etc. I don't know, but I dread to think of what happened to each of those children when the long-term trajectory. We heard some of the possibilities based on our review of literature. From the memo which we got, which included Keizer and Salem report, from 2021 to 2026, there has been 170 arrests from the school alone, according to the DA's office. These are our children. The numbers don't tell the story at all. They just tell us a little story. We believe there is a lot of pain behind the story and after the story, which gets counted. We heard some examples, but I really want us to see what positive things we can do, what we can do together if we decide to. I don't want anybody listening to this to think that it's about people, it's about staff, it's about administrators or our law enforcement, etc. We believe this is a systemic problem. Systemic problems require structural solutions. And that's what we are trying to propose here. It's not about blaming anybody or making people feel bad, but glad that this journey has allowed us to at least bear witness and see for ourselves. Some of the stories you heard about what we learned from the focus group with the African American community. Our communities have had painful experience, but they also have wisdom, and they're telling us what are some of the ways in which we can deal with it. They talked about bias incidents are early warning signs, not minor events for a black child who is coming to school. They talked about Crown Act. You don't need a Crown Act to be decent with each other, I'm telling you. But they talked about Crown Act. They talked about safe and welcoming school. These are the policies attached to law of the land. And they say, let's have a system where we have proper reporting, tracking, educating, and then bring it to the level of board, bring it to the level of community, and then that feedback loop will help us get better and build a better culture. An example, a coach told me, OSAA already has a beautiful system. They have a law, which is connected to a policy. They have an educational material, and they will stop the game if somebody uses an N-word or a bias word. Then they will work on that. And that has to be escalated to the school superintendent. So there's a feedback loop that is attached. They're asking simple solutions like that. So I try to take some time to understand exclusionary discipline, suspension, etc. It's the purview of the school district. That means our educators and staff are all involved in it. They can only do what the policy says. So it really asks, so that's really what I want to explain to you. Whether the arrest it has crossed a line of criminal justice system, and that's a different kind of thing. But what the report we got from Marion County's DA is very important for us to understand. So we took that, broke it down into what are the implications for a policy governance board, mapped it against potential statutes the best way we can understand. We are lay people, we are not technical people. And try to ask ourselves what kind of governance risk we face as a result of it. One simple example I'm going to say, no agency can agree on the definition of safety. But there's one person, I believe, who can. That's the mother of the child who got shot or got bullied. So we really have to start with something very concrete rather than get ourselves into some nuances. We are also required, whenever there's a safety incident, we believe that's a civil rights violation of that person. All of us have civil rights. So we really have to start thinking. Despite persistently high rates of exclusionary discipline, we do not have a standard board requirement that says how we have delegated it to the district to go back and review the policies. Are they working? Are they needing changes? Are they needing update? Are there any gaps? If all our system is leading to 4,900 plus exclusionary discipline, that's like a gaping hole underneath. So we thought perhaps there are many missed opportunities that we could have intervened so that it didn't reach this level. Or if they might have intervened, then we need to know as a board. Why? Because board is fiduciary oversight responsibility. We are legally required to enforce the policies. In our case, we perhaps have delegated it to the district, but ultimately the baby is ours. Board, the buck stops with the board, and board is legally required. Plus, board also has a fiduciary oversight responsibility. We put in a lot of investments in student safety department, PBIS, equity initiatives, school mental health, etc. At least we need to know what's the return on investment. You know, recently we passed a budget. If you kind of break it down, it does talk about significant investment. So what are we talking about? I'm not going to pay more tax just because I made more money unless somebody tells me you better pay, that's required. The same way, no agency is going to self-report or self-correct in this country or any country in the planet. No factory is going to report unless it's required by the regulatory rules. That's what we are talking about. Without a board policy, an overarching structural policy directive that requires regular review of safety practices, transparent reporting, stakeholder engagement, compliance with civil rights protection, there is limited structural incentive for the district or any partner agency to identify problems, self-correct consistently, and demonstrate accountability. Ultimately, the board remains responsible for ensuring these systems function in the best interest of the students. And that's what you learned from the memo which we got. Multiple agencies deal with safety, but there is no coordination, there's no understanding, there's no alignment of policy or data sharing, etc. They have informal ones, but not at a system level. That's what you're talking about. The good news is that we as a board, we could begin addressing this problem through clear policy direction, stronger oversight, and sustained accountability. We are advocating for a fundamental structural solution rather than a case-by-case response. Everything so far, our understanding and studies suggest it's a systemic problem. It's not about individuals, it's about systemic problem. This is not, we want to emphasize, this is not an argument about shortcomings of individual faculty or staff. It's a governance issue that calls for stronger board-level policy alignment, monitoring, course correction. We have a historic opportunity at a time when there is almost 100% alignment in our families and communities. They come around them. You see this room, some of them were pivotal in sharing their stories. So what we are asking, the core of the thing, we want a board to come up with a policy which will be the overarching structural fix and start the process of making necessary systemic changes. What does, three things at least should be there in that. There has to be data transparency. We require regular transparent reporting to the board and the public on key indicators like bullying, cyberbullying, bias incident, exclusionary discipline, law enforcement referral, school-based arrest, off-campus incidents involving students where district response is implicated. I'm a parent. I want my child to be safe both inside the school and outside the school because there is lot of spilling over things. These are civil rights data elements that is absolutely required, and we are collecting them. Continuous policy review, establish a formal process of periodic review and revision and reporting on the effectiveness of our safety policies and discipline policies. Some of our policies were drafted in 2013, 2020. Conditions and contexts have changed. So if it is not producing the outcome, like say we got close to 5,000 exclusionary disciplines, go back and we can retool. And we would like to see the standard is not just what we knew, but in the ordinary duty of care, are we able to have policies or practices which will allow us to see reasonably foreseeable risk of harm. And the third thing is it has to be community-centric engagement. What's that mean? They have to have stakeholders and family members from diverse communities. They have the wisdom. So sit together and not only draft the policy, review the policy, work on these things to make sure. And we have kind of given a detailed report to the board chair. What is the reason we need to do this? Because this is like a blueprint. If the blueprint directed by a structural change is not put in place, we can really we'll be kind of putting in lot of effort, lot of energy. Unfortunately, the problem is at a structural fix, not at going after people, etc. That is what we are hoping. This becomes the beginning of a discussion, not like endless discussion. We request, let's say in the next 30 days, we have something at the beginning stages of a thing. We have also submitted a sample draft of what that policy would look like after input from so many people. By embedding this expectation in the board policy, board can create a clear mechanism for self-correction, improve public trust. Public trust can only be improved when there is 100% transparency. Ensure that student safety remains a central governance priority consistent with its fiduciary responsibility to the community. This way, if the board changes tomorrow after the election or superintendent changes, this underlying structural policy will guide us for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. I want to close by saying every child deserves to feel safe, valued, protected at school. This issue is bigger than any single incident. Ultimately, it's not even about policy. It's not even about data. It's not even about law. These are our children. This is about our future. And this is easily solvable. When I talk to various agencies, I had zero resistance. I want you all to hear this, zero resistance. They were all eager. They wanted somebody to surface this topic in the public realm. That's what I heard from different, and then said, thank God you brought it up. Thank God we are discussing as the first public body to have this discussion, because currently nobody in Marion County individual agencies are responsible for our children. Everybody is holding on to the data policy, but they are not aligned. They can't even agree on a definition, let alone our children who have to navigate through school, community, home, peers. Our children are valuable. And I'm really asking our board, more than our board, all of you to listen with your heart. Listen with your heart. We can set aside different approaches. This is not even, somebody said, is it about SRO? No. This is a structural direction. Without this, simply changing the cosmetic changes like putting lipstick here and there, that's not going to change the problem. And I really want to say thank you very much for allowing us into your space. We had a chance to go and visit so many communities, and thank you for inviting us. I feel personally, and we feel honored to listen. One of the focus group lasted over 2.5 hours. I had to go dress up and change to go to the graduation ceremony. But it was worth it. It was worth it. And I really feel much better that I have been able to share this. And now we will open it up for any questions. So Chair, thank you. Superintendent, this is a heartfelt appeal to my board to just open your heart and listen to this. I got the notes of all the stories I've heard, and the families were so generous. Say, go tell our story, speak with us, talk about us, because sometimes when they come and open their heart here for 3 minutes, they get a sense that we just don't show any reaction, and they don't know what happened to their story. It's very traumatic for them to keep replaying it again and again. So thank you for allowing us to do this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? So you want to?
Questions first? I just have.
You can say what the chair can do whatever.
I don't necessarily have a question, but comments or?
Director Harnish.
Yes, first of all, I just want to say thank you to everybody who is here. I have to say it's so great to get to the end of the agenda and still have individuals of the community still here. And that shows me how important this topic is. You care about this topic. We care about this topic. School safety is something that I know all of us care deeply about, and every story, and thank you for sharing all of the stories that you did and bringing those forward and in the ways that you did and the information. So safety is something that is incredibly important, and we as a board and as a district, I think, can always do more and do better. And as I've been reading through all the materials, and thank you for sending all the materials well in advance, there are clearly a lot of passion in those. And I also, at the same time, am wanting to make sure that as we embark on this, that we're really holding up our role as a policy governance board. And it was a little confused at some of the ways in which the outreach was made and different parts and pieces, which I know we will work through in the process. But I think it's just so important that as a board, we show up in community as a unified group and board. And again, thank you for bringing this forward, and I look forward to this next year, and hopefully even at our retreat, we can talk about some of the pieces that we want to make sure that we're looking at and monitoring and understanding some of the policies and pieces. So,
Chair, can I address that particular question, how we went about? We sent an email to our chair and superintendent somewhere in April, I believe, basically saying we are having this issue. There is such disparity between the outcomes based on some old data with Latino community and Black community, Pacific Islander, Native American community, children are having disparities. So we sent that because we had back-to-back appeal that came up to our executive meeting. I can't go into the details of what we discussed. So we said enough is enough. We need to really bring it to the thing. We have a procedure where, we have been talking about it I have been talking about it for 7 years. It's not something new. I want to be very clear. We have asked this topic, but, it did, with all the other priority, it didn't come up to the board, I guess, because it takes 3 people. So we asked that. So we were given 2 weeks, and we were told, you have to do the presentation, which we are so honored you did that. But we had no data, no stories, nothing to go by. So when you are put in a position where you're such an important topic, so So we started the process of getting public record request, and we literally putting the pieces together because we just didn't want to share our opinion. It's not my opinion. Mike can have any amount of opinion, whatever it is. But the data allowed us to go to NAACP president and said, look, this is what it is. Here is the option. And this is the first time I'm spending so much time with him, to be honest. I'm going to be very, very transparent. I shared all the data, including the raw data, and said, this is what it is. Please help us make sense out of it, because numbers don't tell all the story. Then we met again on a Saturday. We sat down and drilled down. And they said, we have been asking for the same thing. Awareness alone is not the change. Awareness plus action leads to change. So action is our policy board. So it is not that we went about looking. I wanted to be on the record. We were so honored that we were let into different communities for the first time. First time, because there is distress in our community. I want to be very, very clear. People are scared of each other for whatever reason, whether it is valid reason or invalid reason, but that mutual distrust has kept our communities divided. So people don't realize, gee, this is the same story. My child is also affected. There's not one community I have not gone to. Every community has been affected. Suicide, mental health problem, bullying, violence. So we were honored that we were invited to this community. I really want to get that thing. It's not like we truly don't have the mechanism to make a community-wide pitch, etc. We are just simple people. We have day jobs in the thing. We don't have the resources. I don't have a whole media department. In a way, we were so honored. The only thing we did was we needed data. How can we go and just talk the story? So we asked for a FOIA request, and we got from 3. The 4th one, we were waiting for the Office of Civil Rights, U.S. Department of Education. That's the only thing we have. So I really want to get on the record saying we didn't go looking for it. But wherever we went, once they realized this is what you're going to talk about, they opened up their doors and heart, and some wanted to continue ours together. We need to hear at that in-depth level. This is not a 3-minute business, I'm telling you.
Dr. Shandagari, thank you so very much.
Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Director Fuller?
No, I didn't have a comment. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll be brief. I say I'll be brief, and then I go on and talk. Thank you, dear colleagues. You've stated, I think very importantly, of just the numbers don't tell the full story. Just taking directly a quote from your presentation today, and I do believe that we have to be very mindful. We have to be very cautious about the narrative we create and how we spread that, right, especially within our roles, these important leadership roles. And I know that the board as a whole is committed to this, so thank you so much.
Do you mind speaking to the mic? I can't hear half the thing.
I hope you caught that, but
no, I
I've
didn't. Do you mind repeating it?
Yes, I was just saying, as you stated in the presentation, that the numbers don't tell the full story, and I 100% echo that. I think we have to be mindful and to an extent cautious of the narrative we create and how we share that. And so I know that as a board, as a whole board, we are committed to this. So just want to express my gratitude towards that. I want to echo you opened up, I believe it was Director Parker, with your information around the exclusionary practices. And I've been on the board since 2021. Before I came on the board, I've been very vocal about my resistance to exclusionary practices as behavior intervention. I do believe 100% that we expel too many children. And I would say that just across any district, any body, I see that in the numbers for us as well. I understand, of course, that there's nuances, that there's safety instances where, for example, possession of a firearm are instances where we are required by law to do so. But I, in general, question expulsion practices as effective interventions that support youth or provide long-term behavior improvement. And I just want to state that because that is one place where we definitely 100% agree.
Do you mind
sorry,
what did he say? I can't hear. The mic is not working or something like that. I can't hear. Sorry.
I don't know. I'm just going to continue for the sake of time. And I'll just be brief. I think just want to state, we've had conversations related to safety multiple times over a couple of years now, and have seen our superintendent make take courageous decisions and difficult decisions like we piloted weapons detection, we did community engagement on that, got feedback, and there was opposing feedback. Not everybody was supporting. Some people felt, resistant to it, and still made difficult decisions. The board has followed those as well, and as of the fall of 2025, I believe, we have weapons detection in our middle and high schools. We've advocated for a lift on the students with disability cap, right? Recognizing that those are instances where we have higher risk, higher safety risks. We've heard from our educators as well. We've set as a board a goal of sense of belonging, recognizing that this is an avenue, that this is a place where we are able to see early on our students who are not feeling connected to school or to community, and those are opportunities for us to provide early intervention. We heard a couple weeks ago about a dashboard that's going to let us see all of this information in place. So I'm just thinking about the places where we as a board are informed and are watching our superintendent and the district team take intentional steps forward to really think about a system that is centering students' biopsychosocial health and safety needs. And I just really appreciate that. I think this topic is really, really important to all of us. We all value student safety, and I just, again, want to just say thank you to our superintendent and our leadership who is looking at that. I would echo reviewing our board policy is important, and I understand that that's something that the superintendent team have already kind of queued up for the summer. So looking forward to an update on that later in the summer.
I want to thank Director Parker, Director Hudson, and Director Shandagari for sharing and for getting the data and sharing it with us. And I do know that when we have our retreat, we do plan to discuss this. I want to thank our superintendent for being bold and courageous and pursuing getting us the weapon detectors, because like I said, in one of the high schools that I was an administrator in, I witnessed a school shooting. And so we've been very preventive in that way. As a reminder, we're going to go to the Information Standard Report section. It's provided for the board's review ahead of the meeting. Superintendent, do you have anything to add?
I do not.
It is currently 8:51. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.